Alright guys, alright, what is going on? How are you guys this evening? This is the Club of Demand 1993, live on a Sunday night for my live review of the past two episodes of AEW Dynamite, which of course was a two-night special they've done every year now, Fyter Fest. We had night one back on July 13th. And that was in Savannah, Georgia. And then we also had one this past week, July 20th, 2022. That was in, I think it was Duluth, Georgia, I believe it was called. So they stuck in the Georgia area for Fyter Fest this year. Now, of course, Rampage was credited as, like, week one of Fyter Fest and week two. So technically, there were 4 shows of Fyter Fest in total. I don't get to watch Rampage all the time, so I'm just going to review Dynamite, both episodes. But of course, since it was a 2-night special, normally when it's a 2-night special, I just review them all in one show. Hopefully, I can't guarantee though, this will not be the only live stream I do tonight. I mean, it is 8:50 right now already, and there was some big news this past Friday that was revealed in the wrestling industry. I might put that on hold though, wait for that till tomorrow, because I was going to do it on Friday, but then I was too tired when I got home Friday after my other things I had to do. So I may have to wait till after work for that one. But let me tell you something. That second live stream, I'm definitely very excited. And let me tell you guys something. This stream that I do later on, if I do get time today, if not, I'll do it tomorrow, it may have reignited my excitement to do a little more on this channel again. Some stuff that I had canceled and stuff that I may be bringing back. But that's for another time. Right now, this is Fyter Fest. Again, a 2-night special. Overall, I definitely like night 1 better than night 2. Particularly because of the main event of night 2. That one, unfortunately, AEW did not make the right call in that main event on night 2. I'm sorry, it unfortunately did not. So we're going to have a little bit to talk about when we do talk about that main event, that barbed wire everywhere match for night 2. Now, night 1's main event, though, that opener for night 1, I even give credit, the opener for night 2 was pretty good also. But that main event, we did, though, have a big surprise return, though, at night 2. And, of course, we also have an advertisement for this coming week's show, Fight for the Fallen, as we are getting a return, which Bryan Danielson is supposed to be coming back at Fight for the Fallen this week, and he will wrestle Daniel Garcia. So it will be good, definitely, to see him back. We got Tyler in the live chat. Night 1 is a B for him, and night 2 is a D-. I gave my grade overall between both shows, but again, I would definitely agree night 1 was a lot better than night 2. Especially that main event of night 1 was spectacular. Night 2's was a disappointment. But we will talk about it, and we will roll in to talk about the whole thing. So let's first start off with night 1. Which, again, night 1 took place in Savannah, Georgia. We opened up night 1 with a TNT title match, which was between the TNT champion himself, Wardlow, and freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. This was a pretty fun and very interesting comedy match. As we had, Wardlow, Orange Cassidy was like taunting Wardlow. Wardlow, obviously, who is a babyface, supposed to be full of power, was just like, somewhat playing along with Cassidy's jokes, but at the same time, kind of wasn't as well. There was even a point in the match where Orange Cassidy took the straps of Wardlow's singlet and pulled it up over top of him, and then and all that. couple of little scissors, orange punch. There was even times too where best friends Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor were out there, and it was strange. They were kind of acting like heels a little bit. Strange there, but they were a little bit like heels, of course. But unfortunately, they weren't the best cheaters because they got kicked out immediately. But it was something different, definitely, for Wardlow, especially after him being, on like a rampage, no pun intended, going after MJF, and of course him getting his hands on Scorpio Sky. To have like a babyface versus babyface comedy match was interesting, but I liked it. Wardlow, of course, did retain, and then afterwards, he offers Cassidy a fist bump out of respect. We also get a recap of Pac's successful defense of the AEW. One second here. Let me see here. So Chris Jericho makes his entrance, and Pac. Get a recap of Pac's successful defense of the AEW Atlantic Championship shot against Shota Umino in Rev Pro. So I guess that is somewhere overseas, which of course he will be doing, of course, on the Indies, which would be nice. We also have a promo from Chris Jericho, who advised that he is standing before us as Chris Jericho, the living legend, and Eddie Kingston's superior. And he says he knows that Eddie will drop he says Eddie's every drop of blood in their upcoming match is for his friends, but being friends with Eddie Kingston is a worse curse than anything Danhausen can ever conjure. He mentions how Ortiz got his head shaved and lost his dignity. Santana taken out at Blood and Guts, which he may be out the door too. There are rumors apparently that Santana and Ortiz aren't on good terms, and Santana may be leaving, which that really sucks. Mentions how Bryan Danielson was taken out at the Anarchy Arena, and then there's Ruby Soho with a mangled hand and a crushed career, which that was a bad segment where she just placed her hand there to be slammed on the door. And why barbed wire, though? He knows Eddie's a mark for Terry Funk and other people, but how many barbed wire matches has Jericho been in? He won the first barbed wire match in Canada back, I think, in 1993 when he was 22 years old. He felt the pleasure, though, even though the pain was unbearable. Next week, though, Eddie's not going to face Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is going to be bringing in the Painmaker gimmick, who is undefeated in AEW. This match is it. There will be no more excuses after next week, and deep down inside, Eddie knows he'll never be at Jericho's level. If you want blood, Eddie Kingston, you got it. Every drop of blood he sheds is one of his sins. He'll make a flood of Kingston's blood so huge that Noah would be jealous. And Eddie's not a liar, he's a loser. Which, of course, we will talk about that match for night 2. But Eddie, as a promo, tells Jericho to bring the Painmaker, bring the most violent person he can imagine. It doesn't matter, he's going to pay with every ounce of his blood. He's going to hurt him and enjoy it, as he says. We also had a very excellent AEW interim world title match with Jon Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita, if that's how you pronounce it. But I thought it was a very, very good match. And a lot of people, of course, are saying that Konosuke is still kind of new, but he's definitely a main event star up and rising, and I could definitely see why he definitely looked good in this match. Of course, Moxley did beat him with the Bulldog choke. We also have a vignette from the House of Black, and then Christian Cage and Luchasaurus come down with the Varsity Blondes in the ring. Christian says how Brian Pillman would be applied to know his final contribution to this business was this dork son of his. Something was bothering him about Griff Garrison, and he couldn't put his finger on it until he realized Griff Garrison, to him, looks like Jungle Boy. And then, of course, they have a match, and Griff Garrison just squashes him with a submission and a tar pit. Post-match, though, Luchasaurus choke slams Griff into Pillman Jr. and through the Timekeeper's table. Of course, it wouldn't be such a happy ending for the two of them in the second week, but, We also have a promo with Daniel Garcia and 2.0 of the Jericho Appreciation Society, hyping up Daniel Garcia's ROH Pure Championship match with Wheeler Yuta that happened yesterday. I didn't get to watch the show, but I heard good things about it. They say how they're sick of cages, because they're going to be locked in a shark cage during the Barbed Wire Everywhere match. Have questions, and they want the rest of Eddie's pals in a cage too. Garcia says he gets why they want him in a shark cage. He's nasty and dangerous, and Wheeler Yuta's been doing his best Daniel Garcia cosplay for the last 6 months. And he's going to take the ROH Pure title from him at Death Before Dishonor. Then we have an interview with Hangman Adam Page, who's a little disappointed he didn't get a title shot out of the Royal Rampage. But then the Beaver Boys roll up. John Silver says they're pissed off on Page's behalf, and they're teaming up. The Beaver Boys and Alex Reynolds and John Silver will team up with Hangman Adam Page on Rampage to take on the House of Black. I may have to go back and watch that match. It actually sounds like a really good match. Beaver Boys and Hangman Adam Page versus the House of Black. And once again, wouldn't that be and wouldn't that be, a killer match for sure? I may have to go back and watch that. Anyways, so we have that match, and then we have a solid match with Claudio Castagnoli and Jake Hager, of course, former tag team partners, the Real Americans, aka We the People. Very solid match. Again, obviously shows that both these two know each other very well. A lot of close counters. We got some involvement from Angelo Parker and Matt Menard. But Castagnoli was able to pull off the victory, and Castagnoli, of course, would go on yesterday at the ROH pay-per-view to win the Ring of Honor World title from Jonathan Gresham, who also apparently quit. Jonathan Gresham apparently did quit. So we'll see, what he does elsewhere. I haven't seen much of his work. I know he had turned heel recently before Castagnoli had the match with him. Now, I've heard rumors that if Bryan Danielson would have competed at Forbidden Door against Zack Sabre Jr., the original plan either way was to bring in Castagnoli to take on Jonathan Gresham and become the ROH World Champion. So there you go. He's only been in a new promotion for a month now, and he's already won one world title. Take that, Vince. Oh, that's right, he's gone. That's right, he's gone. We'll have to talk about that soon. Yeah, so let's roll here, the next one. We also have an interview from Hook, who's asked about his undefeated record. He says nothing and walks off and sends us to the break. We had this interview with Dr. Britt Baker and her cronies, and then Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm. They went back and forth over who knows what. Serena Deeb had a match with Anna Jay. Not a bad match. Anna Jay held in her ground pretty good, but Serena Deeb get the win with the Serenity Lock. And then Mercedes Martinez runs and makes a save, which I think Mercedes Martinez retained the ROH Women's title over Serena Deeb on Saturday as well, but that was the lead up to that. Jade Cargill and her baddies have a backstage interview. She and Kiera Hogan then are just ripping into Layla Gray, and Stokely Hathaway tells her to trust him, and they're going to be watching Athena and Chris Statlander. Now, originally, I think for night 2, it was supposed to be a 6-woman tag match, but then I forgot that Layla Gray wasn't able to be on the show for some reason. So it's supposed to be Jade Cargill, Kiera Hogan, and Layla Gray taking on Athena, Chris Statlander, and Willow Nightingale, but because Layla Gray wasn't able to be there, it ended up being in the second week a 6-woman tag a regular tag match with Athena and Chris Statlander and Jade Cargill and Kiera Hogan. So we have that. We also have Comedy hyping up Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe, kind of promo about he'll take the ROH World Television title from Samoa Joe. And then we also have Ty Conchi visiting Anna Jay. Of course, they were best friends in Dark Order, but obviously now haven't been seen on TV together for a while. And Ty Conchi's gone high school tongue twisting on Sammy Guevara for the past however many months it's been. They're in a trainer's room, and Conchi tells her she needs to start making better choices for her career. Does she now? We'll have to find out in night 2. And then that main event of night 1. Oh, man. It was another, for the millionth time this year, triple threat tag team match for the AEW World Tag Titles. Young Bucks, the champions, Matt and Nick Jackson, taking on Team Taz's Absolute Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Will Hobbs. They took on also Swerve in Our Glory, Keith Lee, and Swerve Strickland. This was a hell of a main event. This, again, I at first I thought, like, why would they have, the world, the AEW interim world title, not main event, but have this instead? They made the right call. Having this main event to show, this was awesome. The hot tags, the combos, like everyone held in their ground good. Like, even Powerhouse Hobbs started looking like a bigger star. Like you could tell he has improved a lot. Keith Lee doing his crazy shenanigans. Swerve, of course, now there's still the thing where Swerve was like teasing he doesn't want to do this the right. He does not want to do this the right way, but Keith Lee talks him doing it into the right way. Basically, they're still doing that crazy shenanigans. Matt Jackson with the belt shots for everybody. Shane Strickland, though, kicked out. The BTE trigger. Ricky Starks broke it up. We had Keith Lee catching Nick out of the apron, going for a Meltzer driver. But then Keith Lee catches him, and he and Swerve just take him out. The combination was just sick. Again, there were so many combinations. There was not one point in this match. There was a point in this match many times where I thought any of these 3 teams were going to win that match. I thought this was just Young Bucks winning it, and then they're going on to have the trilogy at All Out with FTR. But dang, oh man, was that just awesome. And then the winning comes at the end as Swerve in Our Glory come up with the victory, and they become tag champions. Surprise, but I love it. Again, like they've already teased, some tension and a little bit of friction between Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. But again, it's leading them to be bigger stars. Like, we had Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page pull off an excellent story and be built up as main event stars in AEW through being a tag team. I just gotta keep saying, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland is next. They're the next ones to be built up as single stars as a tag team. This works great. Both of these men, again, will be main eventing. I'll say in a year, one of those two will have a singles title on their shoulder instead of the tag titles. Because the story is going out great. This was excellent. This was definitely one of the best matches all year, in my opinion. But that's night 1. Again, night 1 was definitely a very fun show. Let's check the live chat and see what we got here. Tyler's not excited for SummerSlam. I will try to do a SummerSlam preview predictions this week. I completely understand why, because the card doesn't look too good. But we'll have more to talk about that later, of course. Wrestling News 365. He's happy that Vince McMahon retired from WWE. Again, we'll talk about that later. And it looks like we have a troll here having stuff here. So let me how to use her on his channel. Goodbye. Tyler, as usual, he thinks AEW is full of their egos. And he also thinks Liv Morgan is nerdy. Random, but okay. Thank you for your stuff as usual, Tyler. And thank you, of course, as well for your comment, Wrestling News 365. If anybody else who has any bad comments, you will also get blocked as well. Because I had to block someone because he was just saying not so nice stuff to me. So you went bye-bye. Let's talk about night 2. Like I said, night 2 was okay. that main event, though, was not that good. I mean, with the barbed wire stuff was fine, but everything else around it was kind of messy. And that finish also. Ugh. We'll talk about that when we get to it. The show opened up strong, though. Brody King and Darby Allin had an excellent opening match. I know Malachi Black is supposed to be like the biggest star of the House of Black. Since, of course, the past couple weeks, he's gotten some singles matches. Like when he won the Rampage Royale, and he got a shot against Jon Moxley on Dynamite recently, a few weeks ago. Brody King has impressed me as a single star. He definitely has a lot of singles potential. I honest to God, would like to see maybe him and Wardlow. Him and Keith Lee also would be a killer match. Whenever it is time to set him free also and be a single star, he's going to be great. And it showed here this match with Darby Allin, which was awesome. And Brody King does win with the sit-out of Ganzo Bomb. And then afterwards, he continues attacking Darby. Sting came down for the save. He gets in the ring, and then Brody King beats him down. He gets in the position, though, for a Scorpion Death Drop. But the lights then go out. And here's a little bit of an interesting part. We have the lights come on. Two interesting things here. Lights come back on, and there's a stare down between Sting and Malachi Black. Whew. That gave me good vibes there. That'd be a killer match there. But then Brody grabs a sleeper on Sting, and then Black spits mist in his face. And then King keeps a sleeper on Sting until a horn sounds, and it's Miro. They've been teasing something with Miro and Malachi Black recently, but he stares down the House of Black. So we don't know. Again, I guess this means that they're still setting up for that match. I mean, again, I honestly am a little more interested in seeing Sting and Malachi Black, but they have been teasing something with Malachi Black and Miro for a while, which that'd be a pretty good match. Like that, I think that'd be pretty good for All Out as well. But we'll have to see where they go, which direction they go with that. But yeah, it's definitely kind of conflicted there to see which one to go, because you definitely want to see both matches. But I think I definitely got more chills over that Malachi Black and Sting stare down. That was great. We then have an interview with Ricky Starks and Hobbs interrupting an interview with Cole Cartner, who's supposed to be taking on Ricky Starks for his FTW title. But Team Taz interrupts before the Kid get a word out. Starks says they're the future, and he's been the FTW champion for over a year for very good reasons, and that's not changing. Cole says that Ricky's future's going to look a lot like his past, and he's going to win that title. We also have a solid tag match with Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta taking on Best Friends. They get the victory. There was a moment in the match, though, where Taylor reverses an awful waffle out of the corner, and then a stump pile driver was hit on Wheeler Yuta. Because remember also, there was some history there as Wheeler Yuta was part of Brett's Best Friends. But yeah, Best Friends again kind of acted a little heelish in this match, which was interesting. But the Blackpool Combat Club win. But then afterwards, Daniel Garcia was shown watching backstage as again he was going to be taking on Wheeler Yuta yesterday for the Pure ROH Championship. And we also get a hype video for Claudio Castagnoli and Jonathan Gresham for the world title match. And then we have this promo segment with Swerve in Our Glory coming out with the AEW tag titles. Shane Strickland lets the bask in his glory chants go for a minute before trying to get a Whose House, Swerve's House chant going, and pointing out that he's got his man Kevin Gates in the crowd as well. And show some love, and Keith Lee asks him when he's dropping the deluxe. Lee expresses his external thanks to Swerve and the opportunity to win the tag titles. And to all of us, Keith, though, takes his hoodie off because he's hot, and Swerve chants for him to take it off, and he reveals the same and new shirt that Strickland was wearing as well. Lee says, though, if it's up to him, they don't look down. So if you want a title shot, you better reach. Which then brings out Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling and says they got lucky with their win. And Keith is just lucky Shane didn't stab him in the back, as he's been teasing doing stuff, the wrong way recently. And he pushes out the petition to get Swerve Strickland to be taken off the roster. And then he's here to get Kevin Gates to sign a petition as well. But he refused, and he Gates dropped Tony Nese with a right hand. I think that's setting up for a match with Swerve Strickland and Tony Nese for next week on Fight for the Fallen, I believe. Okay. We then have Tony Nese interviewing Beaver Boys and Butcher the Blade. John Silver says he's the meat man and Butcher is his favorite wrestler, and presents him with a shirt that says Butch on it. Ugh, makes me think of Pete Dunne. They have a matching shirt for the Blade. He doesn't like that, and they beat the Dark Order down until Hangman makes the save. And then Christian Cage and Luchasaurus defeated the Varsity Blondes in a very quick match. Afterwards, though, Jungle Boy returns, and he comes out to the ring with a chair. Luchasaurus steps aside, and Christian Cage runs away, and then Jungle Boy gives him the chase. So again, interesting thing there, as I keep saying, where will Luchasaurus' loyalty lie once Jungle Boy returns? Was that a sign of, conflicting there, whether he remains loyal to Christian Cage or his old buddy Jungle Boy? But Jungle Boy is after Christian Cage, and it looks like, again, we are building to a match at All Out with Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, which will be an awesome match for sure. The Gun Club are going to be backstage, and I think it was Colton Gunn challenged Max Caster to a rap battle on Rampage. Oh boy. Ricky Starks then defeated Cole Carter to retain the FTW Championship. Afterwards, so Ricky Starks gets on the mic and says he's got more in the tank. He feels like it's the night to keep going. So he wants another challenge. And who comes out to answer the challenge? Danhausen comes out to accept the challenge. He would like to accept it right now. And then Starks gets cold feet and says, I need to take care of my neck and accept the challenge for next week. So he kind of chickened out a little bit there. But that'll be good. Danhausen and Ricky Starks for the FTW title. We'll see if Danhausen, of course, can win that FTW title as well. That, of course, Taz holds very dear to his heart. So we have an interview then with Athena, Chris Statlander, and Willow Nightingale. Chris says it figures that Stokely Hathaway would take her out of the match, and Athena says this is a good opportunity to refocus on what's important. Like Chris challenging for the AEW Women's World title, and her winning the TBS Championship. Which was strange, because I know Thunder Rosa has a match against, I forgot what her name is, some Joshi wrestler next week at Fight for the Fallen. But wonder if that means that Chris Statlander, who's been rebrand packaged, of course, if she is going to take on Thunder Rosa at All Out? Or what? Because it was I would say it was strange that Athena wouldn't go after the world title first, but, they've been building with her and Jade Cargill, so I'm pretty sure Athena's winning that TBS title. But I thought it was just strange that she hyped up Chris Statlander to take on the world chick title. So we'll see what happens. Then we have FTR having an in-ring interview. And Cash says how 2022 has been a pretty darn good year for them. No match was bigger than when they took on the Briscoes at Supercard of Honor. But Death Before Dishonor is going to be even bigger. And then Dax tells a story about how his daughter having a hole in her heart that healed up. And that little 8-year-old girl will fight that hard. Her daddy's got no choice but to fight that hard to create a legacy. He's going to fight like an 8-year-old girl and beat the Briscoes' asses in a 2 out of 3 falls match at Death Before Dishonor, which I believe I heard main event at the show. Because their first match was a match of the year candidate, and I heard their second match was a classic as well. Which one was better? I don't know. I have to check it out later. We'll have to see. We also have a promo with Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh talking about the ROH television title match. And then I believe Christopher Daniels shouts into a match on Rampage, tells him to keep Joe's name out of his mouth, and Jay Lethal accepts. Don't know how that went on Rampage, but oh well. Well, actually, okay, then I made a little goof here from what I talked about earlier. Stokely Hathaway, Jay Cargill, and Kiera Hogan came out. Stokely says he got good news and bad news. Bad news, Layla Gray isn't clear to compete. Good news, though, is Chris Statlander is banned from ringside, and there will be no head slapping here. And then instead, I thought it was Athena and Statlander, but it was Athena and Willow Nightingale taking on Jay Cargill and Kiera Hogan in a solid match. Jay Cargill and Kiera Hogan do win, though, with Jaded on Willow Nightingale. Then we have Thunderstorm, Tony Storm, and Thunder Rosa being interviewed. And then Jay cuts a promo on Miyu Yamashita, telling her she's the best in Japan, but she's going to win next week. And then Britt Baker, with her cronies, roll up to wish her luck in mocking way, and she'll see them on Friday. And then we have the main event. So the main event, again, was Chris Jericho, dressed, appearing as the Painmaker Chris Jericho, and Eddie Kingston in a barbed wire everywhere death match. And the Jericho Appreciation Society, the rest of them were locked in a shark cage. And Ruby Soho had the keys to the shark cage, but she was at ringside. And it was weird also because every member of the JAS except for Sammy Guevara. Why he wasn't out there, I'm not sure why at first. But if you do the parts with the barbed wire, the use of the barbed wire was great. This is one of those matches where I would say it wasn't a horrible match. The execution of it, though, it didn't work. The execution was just off. Because we had Ty Conchi come out, and she beats down Ruby Soho. Then Anna Jay comes out, who just had a match at night 1 against Serena Deeb, and Ty Conchi tells her she's got to sort out her priorities. Well, at first, Anna Jay seemed that she was, going against Ty Conchi. But then Anna Jay turns heel and basically double teams Ruby Soho with Ty Conchi. So that's someone else now who's just randomly leaving the Dark Order now. So that's a little strange. So they get the keys. And then I guess they were struggling to get the door open. So basically almost everyone just slipped out between the bars. To which I say, well, then what was the point of them being locked in if they were able just to slip through the bars anyway to get out of the shark cage? So then mayhem caused there, and then the Blackpool Combat Club and all of Eddie Kingston's buddies that are still here, they came out and took everybody out. And then the finish. The finish of the match was Chris Jericho getting the win. And then afterwards, Eddie Kingston tossed him over the rope into a big table of barbed wire. You see, that's kind of like a 50-50 booking thing right there. Because Jericho won the match, but yet Eddie still gets his revenge on him. But it's still... That was Eddie's match to win. That's my biggest gripe. Like Eddie needed this victory. He got the victory over Jericho at not Double or Nothing, but Revolution. He got the victory there. They got the victory at Blood and Guts. But Eddie needed that victory. I heard the reason why they gave it to Jericho because they're thinking about, because there's still rumors that CM Punk may not be back in time for All Out. There's rumors. So they may go with Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho. And I don't know if that's the right... I mean, one gripe I've had about AEW is that everyone except Moxley so far has gotten a rematch for the world title. Jericho never did. Hangman never did. Omega hasn't yet, but Omega's been out with injury. So, I get, of course, giving him that rematch, but is Jericho and Moxley really the must-see match right now, though? We've seen it several times already. And also, again, Eddie Kingston needed a big victory. Eddie Kingston needed to win the feud. I mean, yes, I get it. They had him still, throw Jericho through a barbed wire table to get his full revenge on him, but it doesn't matter. He still lost. And plus two, of course, I know Jericho said no more excuses, so this may have been the last match between them. But even if they would do another match at All Out, like, what are they going to do? How do you outdo a everywhere barbed wire death match? You know what I mean? Like, Jericho didn't need the win here. Eddie needed it more. So it's not a good position for Eddie to be in. So, yeah, like I said, like it was a mistake. And then, again, like I said, with the barbed wire stuff, it was good. But then everything else was like the shark cage, and then Ruby Soho having the keys and then being double teamed by Anna Jay. It was like why was Ruby even out there if she's supposed to hold on to the keys? Like that was just an easy, that was just an easy task for Ty Conchi and Anna Jay as well. So I wasn't crazy about the execution for that main event match. It didn't work for me, in my opinion. So we'll have to see what happens next. We'll have to see if, in fact, Chris Jericho is getting a world title shot against Jon Moxley, which, I don't know about that. And then, or we'll see if they do another match with Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. And if they do it, what the heck will it be? And two, Eddie's got to get the win. Eddie has to get the win if they do another match. If not, then where does he go? So he's a little bit directionless right now if they don't go anywhere else. Like, again, I think not putting Eddie over in this match was a bad call. I will, again, like I said, I love AEW, but I will give them the gripe when they need it. Tony, I'm sorry. You didn't make the right call this time. Eddie Kingston should have gone over in this match. But that's both nights of Fyter Fest. Again, night one was definitely much better. Overall, between both nights, I gave the show a B-. That's what I gave. There wasn't many... Night two was, besides the execution of that main event match, it was okay. But again, night one was definitely a little more electric, for sure. But overall, I gave Fyter Fest a B-. Tyler says, I don't see Jericho not staying in AEW. Do you mean you think he's going to leave or he's going to go back to WWE? I could definitely see Jericho going back to WWE at some point. I think he will at least for a few matches before his career ends. And we've got Robbie. Dean Ambrose threw me onto 69 tacks. And of course he also tore up his jacket. And so owes him like $15,000 for tearing up that jacket. Good to see you as always though, Robbie. But that is my AEW Fyter Fest 2022 live review. It is almost 9:30. I have a couple other videos I want to do. Hopefully, I'll get to the big live stream that I'm excited for sure. I'll be honest, guys. I'll say this right now. I am this excited about this second live stream I want to do tonight, but it's looking like I probably won't get to it till tomorrow after work. I am that excited. I could not sleep last night. I was watching, videos, just getting the latest reports of what all was going on with this big breaking news we got on Friday about Vince McMahon. I'm excited. And like I said also before, that news may have helped me reignite a fire in me and may bring back some content that I've taken away for the past year. Not all of it, but some. We'll have to see, though. Like I said, I'll talk about all that when I do that second live stream. But, of course, since it's still kind of old news, I'm going to get the other news, that I want to get done with, caught up with first. The other 3 Seinfeld reviews, I think a couple more baseball videos we see here. I have actually just 2 more baseball videos I wanted to do before I get to... And, 2 baseball videos and 2 more Seinfeld reviews before I get to the next stream. So, maybe tonight... I can't guarantee, though. But we'll see. So, guys, that is my AEW Fyter Fest 2022 live review. What are your thoughts, again, on AEW Fyter Fest 2022? Do you also think that the execution was not right in that main event match? And do you think they made a mistake having Chris Jericho win that match instead of Eddie Kingston? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel, and follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. Till then, guys, I am checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your night, and peace out, everybody.